Dear Tyler, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're good. I really, really hope you're fine. Um, and I hope that the last podcast was as impactful as I actually intended it to be. Talking about goodness and all. It's a big deal, but you know, yeah, we learn every day, and it's just nice to know that God has given us so much to be able to, or He has given us so much to use, right? That we can actually, make a lot of impact and do a lot of great things. So, yeah, I really hope that it blessed you, and I hope that it added something to you. For me, it was an eye opener. One of the things that I think I always like to emphasize is the fact that I also learn through this whole podcast and all. I also learn a lot. Um, I don't have it all figured out, right? So I actually learn a lot from it, and because of the times that I get to, sometimes my my thoughts, um, just come, right? It's not like I have some stuff written down and have it all planned out. Now, most times I just speak from my heart, and a lot of times I end up saying stuff that actually ends up like blessing me, things that maybe I didn't think of, right? So usually when I'm in the heat of the discussion, I have all of those thoughts. They just come up, and it also blesses me. So it was just really, really nice um, to understand goodness in that part. Understanding goodness as a nature. God has created you good. You are good, worthy, beautiful, valuable, and then also understanding that God has given us the grace to express that goodness. I think there's a part in Jeremiah, I think 33 verse 2. I'll search for it. I think it's 33 verse 2, where he says that, like paraphrasing, where it was like that the whole world would submit to God because of the expression of His goodness. Also, I'll look for that verse of scripture, and then I'll somehow get it across to us. But that's beautiful, just to know that goodness can serve as a weapon. You understand, to win the hearts of people. Very important. And so today we're going to talk about faithfulness. And so the 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 theme for today is yes I do, so I will. Yes I do, so I will. And there are like a lot of ways to actually look at the whole concept of faithfulness. Some people consider faithfulness as being full of faith, right? Being full of belief. That that unwavering conviction, right? Knowing that God is going to be able to step in, or that you could hold God to His words and all. So just being full of faith. Um, you know, Holding God's word as your ultimate standard, right? And just having that unwavering conviction, that unwavering belief that in God, His ability and His willingness to do and to perform, which I believe is extremely, extremely valid and extremely true. Uh, but the Spirit of God kind of like put it in a different light for me. A part of the things that um, the Spirit works in us, right? Part of the fruit of the Spirit is faithfulness. And the description he gave was using a bride or using a couple, you understand? Now, apparently I've done two, I've been the best man for two folks, right? My friend, very close friend, David Dam, and then my cousin, Kungas. And apparently that's like the only time that I have really, really done anything wedding like. Every other time that I was meant to serve as, part of the groomsmen, something happened that I was not able to make it, all of those things. And it's well. So, but I've done this whole best man duty twice, and I remember the first time when I did it with David Dam, it was like crazy because he was the one making the vows, right? Making the vows to his wife, and my heart was beating. I was like, oh my God, like, are you seeing the weight of these words? Like, to tonight now, this man is going to be married. Like, this lady is going to pack in with him and everything. Now it's just like a normal thing. You just say, how's your wife? Do you understand? But I know how like I was freaking out, and I'm not done getting married. I remember it was quite hilarious because after he said the vows, we were together. As okay, definitely we're together now. Like, so he just said, "Pinga, my heart is beating." Oh. That- and it was quite hilarious. And I was like, my heart is beating too. And then his wife was like, oh my heart was beating. And then her chief priest was like, even her too, her heart was beating. It was just such a very funny case and all. Then, so when last month I went for my cousin's wedding, and I was his best man and all. And at this time I noticed that there wasn't this, it was kind of like I was showing this kind of class, like I've done best man before. It's the normal thing for me, and I was even smiling. I remember during David Dam's zone, I was almost in panic mode. One of my friends took a video of me, and it was like hilarious. It's like, Binga, what are you thinking of? What's your mind going through? Or what's going through your mind? But for me, I'm somebody, right, that takes words seriously. Right? So if you understand that whole concept of the 5 love languages, for me, words of affirmation matter more than anything. And I don't use words lightly. I don't use them lightly. So when I hear the vows that people make, it's mind-blowing. Do you know what forever means? Like, till death do us part. I know some people don't want to, or they don't believe in such commitments. They're like, nah, we're meant to speak life, negative confessions are wrong. And I understand it from that, like, but come on, like, we live in a deep, we know the world that we live in, and we know the enemy that is absolutely against us, right? Jesus said something that in this world you'll have many troubles, right? But don't worry, right? Be at peace because I have overcome the world. The troubles will come, right? But then he has given us a system, right? He has created a platform that keeps us above the storms, right? Above the storms. So, like, I believe in the vows, right? In sickness and in health, because does it mean that as much as we desire that, seamless health, right, for each other, does it mean that when she's not feeling well or when he's not feeling well that you abandon them? Those vows, right, are commitments. They are it's you saying that irrespective of what happens, right, I am here with you. If you're weak in faith, or whatever you're going through, any challenge, I'm here with you. So it's absolutely unconditional, right? I am fighting with you. I'm staying with you the whole way. And I think it's very, very important. Right? To every time when I hear people make those vows, I'm like, do you understand what it means? I know this is not like a marriage talk and all, but I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe, or no, it wasn't Miles Monroe, but it was another pastor or so. Probably Miles Monroe would have said it too. He said, do you know what it is for a lady to agree to marry you? She literally changes her name. Her name was her identity. Do you understand? So maybe we're talking about Felicity John, just a random name, right? John talks about her heritage, her history. That's her identity. This is the identity that built her. Okay, this is the identity that created her, right? She's the seed of that identity. groomed her, taught her all that she needs to know, protected her, groomed her. You get, it's like I used that groom word twice, but anyway, cultured her, prepared her for everything. And in a matter of seconds, through the pronouncement of words and it being sealed through prayer, right? She changes that name. She switches to the history or the identity that you bear as a man. Whatever you represent, she falls under. So a lady marries a rich man now. Her status immediately changes, right? Marries an influential man, her status immediately changes, right? If she marries somebody that is struggling or incompetent or so, that's the identity she now submits to. I don't know how best to put it. Now that freaks me out. And I'm like, most times I tell myself, I'm like, Binga, whoever you're going to marry, be the best that you can, because she is trading one life to share yours. Make it worthwhile for her. Let it be that one decision that she would forever cherish making. And that's what I think leads to things like faithfulness, right? And that's what God kind of like, the Spirit of God shared with me about what He produces in us called faithfulness, showing up, staying true to your word. And that's why the theme came, yes, I do, so I will. I told you that I will, right? I told you that I do. And so I'm keeping to it. I'm keeping to it not because you've kept to yours. I'm keeping to it because I made a promise to you that I will do it. Right? So part of the scripture says that even when we are not faithful, He remains faithful because He cannot deny Himself, cannot deny His word. So irrespective of our keeping to our agreement or not, God Himself remains faithful. And that's like the key of integrity, that when He says something, that you can be rest assured that He would do it, right? So when you say something, how can people hold you to your word? I read an amazing story on Facebook. I don't know if I've shared it with you, Tyler, but I read an amazing story about a man that was, he was at home sleeping, I think around 2:00, just woke up, was flipping through his phone, and then a message came in from his messenger, I think WhatsApp or so, and either WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, true story, and it was his ex, and she was looking really good, nice DP, profile picture and all, and she was like saying that wow, that he looks good, all of those little flirtatious expressions here and there. She now started getting like really, really deep. And he found himself like, wow, this lady is so fine, so beautiful. Like he was enjoying the conversation. And somehow he decided to turn. And his wife was there sleeping. And he said something. He said, this woman is sleeping, not knowing what I am doing. She's sleeping, trusting that she has my heart completely. This woman left her house, left the safety of her home, the assurance of love from family, to cling to me. I will not betray this woman's trust. And he just blocked the ex, deleted the chat, and he, dropped his phone and he hugged her, held her tight. I'm sure, she'd be wondering, now why is he getting all mushy? Now that's what faithfulness is. Faithfulness is saying something and keeping to it. Now, as I'm saying all of this, right, trust me, it's something that I really, really need to work on, Tyler. Sometimes I do quite a lot of projects. I do quite a lot of talks with people. I have engagements, and a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this for you, and I don't end up doing it. And I have legit reasons why I shouldn't or I couldn't do it. Maybe work came up, maybe I was traveling. Do you understand? But faithfulness eradicates the concept of convenience. You're not doing it because it's convenient or it's okay. You're doing it because that is your word and you promised. You promised to keep it. That is your word. You promised to keep it. And that is the most important thing. The Spirit of God helps us to stay true to the words that we have said that we're going to do. It helps us to stay true to our commitments. It helps us to stay true to our decisions, right? It grants us that expression of integrity. It's very clear to know people that the Spirit of God has worked on through their faithfulness to responsibilities, faithfulness to chores, faithfulness to decisions, faithfulness to plans, faithfulness to commitments, faithfulness to individuals, faithfulness to relationships, faithfulness to discipline. It's hard. Trust me, it's hard. But the Spirit of God works all of these things in us. There is grace available for us to remain faithful. When you read the book of Hosea, right, and God, teaching Hosea, using the example, using Hosea himself as an example, telling him to get married to a prostitute, and then the prostitute, after giving birth for him, she goes back to her prostitution, and then God tells him to go back. God relates his love obsession with Israel using Hosea. I made a promise to you, Israel, and I'm not going to back out on it. You always, move away from me, but I'm going to love you irrespective of it. You've made a commitment. Stay true to it, Tyler. The Spirit of God works all of these things in us. The Spirit of God works all of these things in us. Faithfulness is a deep expression of love. A deep expression of love. A deep expression of love. After Jesus resurrected, and he told Simon Peter, take care of these ones. And this was before his death, rather. And after Jesus had resurrected, they went back fishing, and then he had to cause Peter to make a commitment. Do you love me? Then feed my lambs. Do you love me? Then feed my lambs. Do you understand? Do you love me? Then feed my lambs. Stay true to your word. Stay true to your commitment. That's faithfulness. Faithfulness to your spouse. Faithfulness to your relationships. Oh, God. I remember how I was in a relationship back then, and we were having issues. And instead of me to remain faithful, I was, lynching onto a friend. And somehow, imagine being in a relationship, you could spend just like maybe 6 minutes on the phone with your own lady, and then you could spend up to 3 hours with someone else. You would have reasons to go back on your promise. You would have reasons to give up. You would have reasons to quit. You would have legit reasons, Tyler. But you see, this thing called faithfulness is what will keep you. Faithfulness would keep you, Tyler. Faithfulness would keep you. And so let's think about the things that we've, the commitments that we've made, the things that we said that we're going to do, and we probably, we became loose and free about them. Can we recommit to them and ask God for the grace to remain faithful? Faithful to Him, faithful to ourselves, faithful to relationships and people we've made commitments to, faithful to activities, promises, faithful to commitments, whatever it is. There's something that happened to Job that must have warranted God to be like, have you considered my servant Job? There is always a reward for faithfulness, right? So think about the story of the talents, right? The parable of the talents. It's really not about how much was given. And it's not really about how much was, realized per se. But the fact that they remained faithful to the work. We don't know how many kingdoms were given to each of them, but all we know is that he said that you've been faithful. The master told the servants that remained faithful, he said that you have been faithful in a little, I will set you over much. Come and enjoy your master's happiness. That was all. We don't know how the prorata sharing was done. Do you understand? We don't know if it was equal. We don't know. But we just have the indication that the one with 5 talents was probably given more, because when the 1 talent was taken from the unfaithful servant, right, it was given to the one with 5 that made another 5, right? He had shown greater responsibility, so why not? So probably the reward systems were different, but there is a reward, right? Galatians chapter 6 verse 9 says that be not wearing and well-doing, right? For you will surely reap a good reward if ye faint not, right? See a man diligent in his business, he'll stand before kings and not mere men. It's about being diligent. It's about being faithful, staying true to your word, right? Would the master still find us faithful when he returns? Would he find us full of faith? Our expressions of faithfulness also is an expression of our faith in the person that we put our faith in. Do you understand? And so if I stay faithful to God, it's because I believe in God's ability to perform. If I stay faithful to my partners, because I believe in my own partner's ability to do well. If I stay faithful to my commitment, do you understand? It's because I believe in the commitment ability to bring rewards. Do you understand? I believe in it. Faithfulness is an expression of faith in itself, right? So I really hope that this just 20 plus minutes sharing about faithfulness has brought some level of enlightenment to us, right? If you say yes I do, make sure you do. So look back at all the promises that you've made, all the commitments that you've made, and you'll be like, hey Tyler, I said this, right? Yes I do, so I will. I'm committed to the things that I have said that I would do. Is that okay? Right. Really hope that you have an awesome day, Tyler. I really, really do. So, this is me signing out, right? Remember, I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I believe in you big time. Bye.